Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we are going to do a tanking Esper tier list. That's kind of hard to say. A tanking Esper tier list for War of the Visions Global, where I'm going to take the Espers that I think are designed to be worn on your tanks, and I'm going to put them on a tier list for how good they are on said tanks. Now, before I get into that, before I start grouping these people over here in this line, I do want to talk about this all category that you see right over here next to my head, because every Esper in this game does have some kind of tank stat to it. They all come with HP, they all come with stats, and so in certain builds, it could be better to run Siren on a tank instead of a true tanking Esper, and in some cases, Siren might just do it for you. So I have a couple examples of what I'm talking about there in this all category before I get to the rest. And let's start with a guy like Odin, right? You can run Odin on tanks. In fact, I do run Odin on tanks sometimes, especially when I'm looking to make my tanks faster, because Odin has 20 agility, and most true tanking Espers in this game are short on this category. In fact, 15 agility for a tanking Esper is pretty good, but Odin with 20 agility, decent amount of HP, a high attack stat, on his skill tree does have some things that are good for tanks. Missile resistance, slash resistance, and then if I'm thinking about my more generic, my more DPS focused Espers and if they would be good on a tank, I like to look for generic stats. I do air quotes many times at the beginning of this video. I'm going to try and stop that. But like accuracy, good on a tank and a DPS unit. Human killer, good for whoever's wearing it. So Odin is very, very good for a tank. The reason I don't think it's a tanking Esper is in most groups, it's better on DPS. You'd probably rather have one of your best DPS Espers on a damage unit, but you can absolutely put it on a tank. Siren's sort of the same thing, very, very fast, slightly better for your magic scaling tanks, but then if you look at the skill tree, has 25 slash resist. So Siren, even though I don't think she is a true tanking Esper, in a slash resistance build or a water resistance build, you could run Siren. And then you have other ones, Freezies. I don't think Freezies is a tanking Esper, but does have access to spirit and fire resist with a little magic resist splashed in. You see what I'm talking about. There's MR ones like Mind Flayer, which is low-key very good on tanks like Celis. You have a little bit of HP, Pierce, Lightning Resist, Magic Up for your tanks that scale with magic, and then Human Killer, which again, generically good. And then I put Scorpion Sentinel on here. Specifically, I have a lot of experience running this on a tank like Charlotte because you do get lightning resist, missile resist for your tank stats, but if you snack this slash resistance right here, it leads you right into a nice lightning attack boost. So really good on a tank like Charlotte specifically, but I don't believe Scorpion Sentinel was made to be a tanking Esper. I think it was made to be Cloud's Esper, if I'm being real. So that's kind of my example of how all Espers can work for tanks. Now though, let's talk about the specific tanking ones, and I'm going to put them where I think they belong. First on my list is going to be Death Machine, and I think Death Machine is an A rank tanking Esper in this game. If we look at his stats, he's a little slow. This is what holds him back a bit in my opinion at 13 agility. Even though that's medium speed for a tanking Esper, it is slow. 13 is not fast. However, 1407 HP is a lot, 107 attack is a lot, a decent amount of dex, and a good amount of luck at 83. His stat line is actually not bad. And then he's got a lot of tank stats on him. This is a good tanking Esper. Don't sleep on being able to go accuracy into crit evasion. There's more crit in this game than ever right now. Has a great amount of fire resist, has the defense stat on there, and has missile resist, and there's plenty of missile damage in the game. So he can be fully built as a tanking Esper, which again, that's kind of my qualification for why I think he's a tank Esper. And then if you want some slash attack on there, boom, you've got that as well. So Death Machine, a solid A on the tier list for me. Next up, we've got Demon Wall. And look, if you're one of the people lucky enough to have Demon Wall, this Esper is great for tanks. This is an S tier tanking Esper in my game, Well, I use this Esper a lot on my tanks. Stat-wise, agility 13, same as Death Machine, right? So a little slow, less luck, which isn't great, but a nice attack number here, a lot of HP. So looking good on the stat line. Then the skill tree is really where this guy shines. Has a lot of slash resist. In fact, has as much slash resist as Siren, so can be used as a tankier option to Siren if you don't need that like speed option that Siren gives you. But really, one of the biggest bonuses of this guy is Dark and Light have been all over this game since the beginning. He has both Dark resistance and Light resistance, and then if you're fighting those teams, you can go Light Killer or Dark Attack if you're a Dark unit, but Light Killer specifically, oh my gosh, you're going against like a mono Light team right now, you can go Slash Resist, Light Killer, and you've got a pretty dang awesome Esper right here. So I really do like Demon Wall, one of the best tanking Espers in the game in my opinion, S tier. Okay. Who's next on this thing? Bloody Moon. Now, Bloody Moon is an MR Esper that I'm going to drop straight into the A tier. So if you've picked up Bloody Moon already, let me tell you something about our friend, the Bloody Moon. First of all, if you look at him in the game, he's looking the wrong way. Why? I don't understand. He's just spun around and you can't, I don't know, it's weird. But stat-wise, actually comes in at 14 agility, which is more agility than any of the tanking Espers we've ranked so far yet. 76 luck is pretty good. 76 dex is pretty good. 1144 HP, lower than the UR counterparts we've seen, but for an MR Esper, pretty dang good. Attack, really low, but Magic 101. A great tanking Esper for your magic scaling tanks like a Celis or something like that. If we look at the skill tree, missile resistance over here, dark resistance over here, has spirit that also gives magic up on the way to spirit, and has charm resistance, which is like kind of interesting, I thought. But like charm resist, I'm not talking about those specifically in this video, so I will unclick that. But I am talking about accuracy a bit in this video. Tanks do need a little bit of accuracy, especially with as much evade as in the game right now. So look at what this dude offers at an MR price. Magic up, spirit, dark resistance, accuracy, missile resist. Whoa. Like for an MR tanking Esper, very, very nice. I like Bloody Moon a whole lot. Next up, we've got Golem. Now, Golem is going to also come in the A tier for me. This is one of our oldest tanking Espers in the game. Very slow. 12 for a UR Esper. 12 is slow and almost slid him back into the B rank. But he overcomes it in some other ways. A lot of attack at 114, a lot of HP at 1452, decent amount of dex and luck, and if we go to his skill tree, he has like generically very good nodes. Defense, awesome, right? If you're looking to stack defense, you can't really go wrong here. Earth resist is not bad. Critical evasion is nice. Pierce resistance is nice. And if you want just some like a little more damage to your build, you have human killer, which is just going to help everybody do damage, and it's these human killer nodes. When I was looking at him, it was that he had access to human killer that kept him from going down to a B. Because yes, we are talking about tanks, but guys, tanks can hit pretty hard. And so with human killer, anytime you're building defense, boom, you can throw Golem on somebody, and I think he will boost their damage. Again, his biggest drawback is 12 agility is a little desperately low. Okay, next up, we've got Lich. Now, Lich is also Earth Element, but is going to slide into the C tier. So I do think this was made to be a tanking Esper, and I don't think he's played that much. Is it only cost 30, so MR, right? And a decent amount of HP for an MR, 1283. But 11 agility, oh my god, this boy is slow. Low dex and luck, magic stat at 93, so I guess is made to be run on a tankier mage. Skill tree, you got wind resist, you have strike resistance, and you have a good amount of strike resist, by the way. Then you have a defense, and then some critical evasion and accuracy. So, for some reason to me, Lich feels like maybe it's supposed to be like the budget Luel Esper or something like that. But like maybe Spellblade version of like Kilfay who's trying to tank for you and you're in a cost limited situation. I don't know. I don't love Lich. He's one of my least favorite tanking Espers in the game, so I will drop him into the C tier. But if you have him and you're in a cost limited situation and like desperately looking for a tanking Esper, he can't get the job done for you, so he's not, I didn't put like a D tier. I give him a C. Okay, Golden Arimon. Now, this is one that I don't hear talked about a lot, but I think is very, very good. I'm going to drop Golden Arimon into the S tier, and let's talk about why. Okay, agility at 13. I think you've seen at this point. It's slow, but that's basically what you're getting with a tank Esper. A lot of HP, lot of attack, 79 dex and luck, which is decent. It's the skill tree that really sets this guy apart, in my opinion. First of all, lots of slash resist, right? A ton of slash resist. Mixed in with some HP up nodes, mixed in with some defense nodes, has accuracy nodes, has critical evasion nodes, and has ice resistance nodes. If you're running a tank, and you are specifically running a tank into some physical attacking units, you get a whole lot of bang for your buck with Golden Arimon. I really like this Esper. If you're talking about a Joom who's also capable of doing a little bit of damage, you can slide right off this accuracy into some wind attack nodes. And then if you're like strapped for a PvE situation, you have some crit rate here. Like a nice amount of critical rate. Notice he does not have those weird like Esper resonance nodes on him or something like that. You can find a situation to use every node on this board in certain PvE situations, like if you're fighting a plant, or if you want to crit, or you're fighting earth units, etc. So a lot of bang for your buck on Golden Arimon. I really like him a lot. Okay, what is next? Next up is Ocho, and I drop Ocho in as my first B tier tanking Esper. It's another MR, again with that dreadful 11 agility, but again, in cost limited situations, he's only 30 cost, 1283 HP is nice for an MR, balanced attack and magic. I do like this about this Esper. You know, if you're in like a limited Guild Wars and you want a tanking Esper for a magic tank or a physical tank, at least he's not hurting you either way. This is bad. 56 and 58 dex and luck will hurt your accuracy a bit, but there's a lot going on this skill board. He has magic nodes, so particularly good for a tank that does scale with magic, has defense nodes, lightning resistance nodes, accuracy nodes, slash resist, wind resist, and some crit evade. So a lot going on this board, you know, for an MR Esper, good enough to, I'll give him a B rank, right? Okay, who's next on our list here? We've got Phoenix next, and Phoenix I'm going to drop into the A tier. Now, here's our boy, the Phoenix. You guys seen a trend with this 13 agility? I know I'm seeing a trend with this 13 agility. It seems like it's on a lot of them, but a lot of HP, 1469, a very nice attack stat at 107, decent dexterity, luck's a little lower than I'd like, but 71's fine. And then the skill tree is pretty good. You have, again, a lot of slash resistance. I'm sorry, this is a lot of strike resistance, which is nice because it is one of the harder to mitigate things in the game. If this would have been slash resistance, I probably would have liked it more, honestly, because you seem to like have more use for that in some situations. Might have bumped him up to an S, but also has a lot of defense, has some HP nodes, water resistance nodes, which is really nice if you're putting this guy on like a King Mont, can help you overcome that water resist a little bit, has crit evasion here, and so a generically very, very good Esper that I think is even better on a fire unit if you want to do a little more damage with these fire attack nodes. All right, last up, Titan. Now, Titan was one, like I'm going to put Titan in B. Now, I think Titan is a very, very good Esper, but he barely made the cut to me as a tanking Esper, and I just really wasn't sure, but I was sitting here playing with this board, and I was like, you know what? We really just don't have a lot of Espers on this list that give Spirit. And he does give Spirit. Like, he has a lot of Spirit in here, wind resist, there's plenty of wind teams, and then a lot of accuracy. So I was like, you know, you could just drop this guy on a tank, build these nodes, plus a little more, and you'd be well on your way to tanking. So this is like, to me, Titan, in my opinion, is like the cutoff of what I would consider a tanking Esper or non-tanking Esper. But a lot of Spirit, a lot of wind resist, attack up is generically pretty good, lots of accuracy, which is very, very nice. And then if he's on an earth unit, you can pop into some earth attack or, you know, a piercing tank, which maybe is a sub job or something. I don't know. Crit rate is generically good as well. And then if you're fighting beasts or lightning units, you got killers on there. So that's my tanking Esper tier list right there. And those are like the only Espers in the game that I truly consider tanking Espers. The next video will either be a magic or physical DPS one. I got to go through the Espers again, kind of organize my thoughts for that. But if you like this format, let me know, and I could do more videos in this format. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.